I don't know if you heard me ask the initial question. How many single women do you know that you would think would be great wives personally in your life, and how many men do you know personally in your life that you think would be great husbands that are single?
I know about 10 women in my life that I think would be great wives. Um, Maybe like 3 men that would be great husbands.
How you quantifying that they would be great wives, and how you quantifying they would be great husbands?
Personal development, working on themselves, working to be better, having understanding who they are, being able to take accountability, worked on their past traumas, have actually taken time to be alone, to work through the childhood trauma, the relationship traumas, the relationship that they've had with money, just a lot of different things.
So 10 women like that and only 3 men?
Yeah, I'm in a sorority, so I just have a little bit more access to women in that retrospect. And my personal experience with men, it's men sometimes they a little slower with personal development,
You know,
right?
I think this is the major disconnect between men and women. And I see, and what she just described pretty much explained it to me. You encounter women on a friendship level to the point where you don't actually see the relationship side of them, whereas your most of your encounters with men have been relationship based.
No,
So
these men that I'm speaking of,
they're
I've
platonic
never met.
friends.
No, they're like my friends. And the women that I'm speaking of, like I've set them up with some of my guy friends. So I've seen I'm not a
I'm
non-biased
not
woman.
saying no. I'm not saying that you're biased. I'm saying that typically when you encounter men that's more romantic, it's on a romantic level. That's why you will only know 3 men in your life that you would say are marriage materials, because you're only like you have more female friends than you have male friends, and that's only
No, that's not the case. I actually have more guy friends actually.
so. Wait. Okay, so what you just said earlier don't make any sense then.
It does make sense because you didn't listen to my reasons on why I said.
No, I
I,
did.
I said that the men that I know personally, that I know that are my guy friends, they're not personally developing. And I think to be in a healthy
Maybe if she get
relationship,
details on the personal development, we can have an
Right,
understanding.
because I'm not understanding how you know 10 women but only 3 men, but you have more male friends than you have women friends. Like it just don't. It's that thing that I always think about. Like when you
Better,
point,
like
like
I think a better question might be is like how many male friends would you say you have?
maybe like 10ish,
Okay,
10ish.
so out of the 10 men, only 3 of them are marriage material.
Yeah, like today years old. I'm not saying they don't have the potential, right? But we can't be thinking about potential. We have to think about like who they are like today years old.
I got you. And then as far as women, how many women friends would you say you have that you know?
Friends, 4. But like women that I encounter like through my sorority, right? Through meeting them through like my brother or like some of my I'm close with some of my brothers, like women ex-girlfriends. I'm close with some of my guy friends.
I'm just talking about women that you're close to. How many women that you encounter on a regular basis to be able to give a more accurate response to his question?
think of it the same way that you thought of the men. That whatever you think as far as male friends, you have female friend equivalent. How many of them is there? Like how many? Like the kind of the men that you put in that category as friends, and you said I got 10 male friends and only 3 of them.
Y'all
How many?
didn't ask friends. Y'all said people I know that's close to me. People
We're
that's
trying to
close,
get a
they don't gotta
percentage.
be friends.
So
She said four.
if you
She said
grab
four.
you where you grab the 10 women from, whatever pool you grab the 10 women out of, how many is in totality that you know of?
Wait, what?
How many women do you know that aren't marriageable, and how many men do you know that aren't marriageable?
I answered that, and now y'all talking about,
Oh
well,
no,
girl,
no,
don't
no.
talk
Your
about
initial
your
question.
friends.
No. Your initial question. I got what you're saying. You're saying there are 4 men that you think are marriageable and 10 women that you think. They're trying to figure out the proportional difference. So how many women do you know that you think are not marriageable, and how many men are not marriageable that you know?
Oh, them numbers is outrageous for both the
But
men and the women. I
but out
don't
of the
think that.
four, but out of the 4 women that you're close to, how many of them are marriage material?
No, she already said 10. Her number was
No, no,
10.
no, 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 no. Hold on. Go ahead.
But y'all confusing shit out of it. But y'all got to
Wait,
slow it down, and y'all have to like come. Y'all have to be all be on the same page because I understand what Marcus is doing. Marcus tried to flip it to see if we can get a better number. So, but she seemed to be all over the place because she knows a lot of people.
So
When we
Yeah,
asked
like
them,
y'all questions, y'all got to be a little bit more direct.
hold
I
on, hold
know a
on.
lot of people in
Right.
life.
So, but we're not talking about everybody in life. We're only talking about the men and women that you are close to, that you can honestly say. So that's why I just asked, what's the total number so we can get a range? What's the total number of women that you encounter on a regular
And when you say
each year?
close, what do you mean by close?
Some people are just black and white, okay, and so you can't really go in between.
Like close is
I don't think y'all
subjective.
gonna get the answer
You
that y'all.
mean friends? You mean
Let's just say
associates?
friends. Okay, let's just say like how many female friends do you have?
4,
Okay, and how many male friends do you have?
10.
Okay, 10 male friends and 4 female friends. Out of the 4 female friends, which Ruth said, how many are marriage material?
4.
3.
3. And out of the
that sounds like bias.
right. But that's what I. That's why I said.
hold on. No. I was laughing at something else. Out of the 10 men, how many are marriage material?
3.
3. Okay.
So 70% of the women that you know are marriage material, but
75.
75, but only
30.
30% of the men that she know. Come on, man.
So, but sweetie,
wait, you got to take into consideration she might only surround herself with those 4 types. You know what I'm saying? Those 4 people that she surrounds herself with are a certain caliber of woman. So that could happen. That's why I was trying to ask how many, wherever she derived that 10 from would have made more sense because she got the 10 that she knows. I wanted to know how many people she knew totally out of that 10. So then you would have a more accurate assessment of what she was, how she felt about it.
She kicks it with good women and knucklehead niggas.
I got the answer. Women, I got the answer if y'all just listen. Listen, Linda. Women have a higher opinion of women, and we have a lower opinion of men. That's why
I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree. That's not my reasoning for why I said
we can easily see the men's flaws, but it's hard to see the flaws of the women that's close to us. That's all I'm saying. We'll say, girl, you look good in that. And they don't look. I'm just talking in general. I'm not really talking about you. I'm just saying we will say, oh girl, you look so good in that. Everything's gonna be great, but not tell her the truth. But we get real raw with the men that we know in general.
What are those 3? What are the marriage material? For the 3 women, what makes them marriage material in your opinion?
As I stated earlier, but when I was asked this question for me, because the only thing I can speak is from my truth and my experience and my journey. Mm-hmm. For me, a person for me that I'm like, okay, I feel like they're on marriage material is that they're working on themselves, right? Personal development, healing from our past traumas, whether it be relationships, from our parents, from our sisters, from our friends, from race issues, from all of these things. We're actively working through those. We're able to identify our triggers. We're able to understand our needs, our wants, our desires. We're stable in our mind, in our spirit, in everything that we're bettering ourselves on an everyday basis. We understand who we are, we understand where we want to go, and we understand how to get there. We also are able to take accountability. We're able to apologize. We're able to work, like we're just all encompassing beings that are like, and also ready to be committed. Like a lot of my guy friends, they're not ready to be in a relationship. They're not ready to be married. So if you're not even ready to be in a relationship, like they be like, hey, I'm out here in the streets. Like I'm figuring shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they not even in a mindset to be married. So you have to want to be married. You have to be like, you know what? I've been out here, shit ain't been working. Clearly there's a disconnect. Clearly there's some things that I need to work on for myself to figure out why I'm not attracting the person that I want. Why am I continuously running into these certain type of men, these certain type of women, and I'm taking a step back from dating. I'm taking a step back from having sex. I'm taking a step back from being outside in the streets and really figuring out what it is I want and how I can get there. And in my experience, the women that I have dealt with,
let's let the other ladies answer the question too.
They have been working on that because as a collective, right? We all collectively have been working on that because we've listened to the negative feedback that's been talked about the Black woman. Y'all don't do this. Y'all don't do that. Y'all this. Y'all that. So we've taken that and we've tried to better ourselves. So that's why I said what I said.
Okay, gotcha.
So the words.
Hold on, y'all. Let's just let the ladies go real quickly, y'all. Like just 1 minute. Go ahead, lady.
Thank you. So as far as the question goes, I guess appearance that it seems like women are doing the choosing when it comes to dating, and whether or not I think it throws off the dynamic. I think it just depends on where people are when they're approaching dating. I mean, personally, for me as a woman, I don't pursue men. It's not really my thing, but I do understand women being more assertive. I guess as it relates to going after what they say they want. It seems like it's almost a freaking Hunger Games for a man out here with some of these chicks. So, you know, I get it being like a thing where they might feel like they need to assert themselves if they want to get what they want, which is a man. Whether or not they're ready for the man that they say they're looking for is something else entirely. Because like you approaching dating from a place of either desperation or need or imbalanced desire, like whatever that is, could just have you just messing everybody else up because you still ain't working on yourself. Just a whole bunch of collateral damage along the way, you know? So this depends on how you approach it with that. But yeah, some women are doing the choosing. Not my cup of tea, because I do think I prefer my men to be the leader and the guide in that, because, you know, men loving you, y'all just, you know, it's the whole thing with cheating in the flesh and y'all being a bit more carnal than we are and whatever have you. There's that whole rabbit hole that I could go down, but I'm sure y'all catch my drift.
Now, I was just curious as to what was the criteria that was being used to say that a woman or a friend was marriage material. And so she answered the question with saying that, you know, they're working on themselves and they are taking accountability and things like that. And then when she kind of described the men, she said it more so like she's just they already kind of come from a place of where I'm not ready. I don't want to be in a relationship. So I can understand that. I just think that a big part of the problem is, how do you measure when somebody has successfully healed enough to be inside of a relationship? Because if they're working on them, a lot of the problems in relationships come from people that are working on themselves. So a big issue that comes from that is, well, you know that I'm working on myself, don't judge me. But then you see all the negative aspects of them working on themselves, like are very visible inside of these relationships. So you get a lot of the arguing, you get a lot of the talking, talking back, and this is one to another. I'm not putting this on just men or just women, but our issues are very visible inside of all of our lives. So what is the determining factor to say that I've made it to a certain point in my healing or my counseling that I am now marriage material?
I think that's for each individual person to decide. I honestly don't think it's for us to decide who is and who isn't marriage material. That's a personal decision. And if they find somebody that is willing to go on that journey or be with them while they're in their figuring out phase or whatever, that's for them to do. It's not for me to do. This is all like based on my personal opinion. I don't like to speak
I don't
on
think that was
other
his question,
people's
though.
opinions.
Yeah, I don't think that was his question. His question is for people that are healing, right? Let's say I'm in my healing journey and all that, and you did the work. Like, how do you measure if somebody did the work? If you're still repeating some of those same things within these relationships, like if you meet somebody and they say they healed, how do you know they healed? And then the same stuff that they supposedly have worked on is still showing up in relationships, right? Elsa, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, so just to use a woman for example, woman has had a traumatic past, whether it was a relationship or something inside her childhood. She goes to counseling for it, but inside relationships, there's a continuing problem that whenever she gets into a relationship, she starts doing small little things to test his loyalty, to test how far she can go before he snaps. And she doesn't realize she's doing it because these are unconscious behaviors that have formed, since she encountered the trauma. But she's been going to therapy, but these things are still present, and these little small things are what add up and destroy relationships. So how can anybody ever come to the point where it's like, okay, I've done the work on myself to say that now I'm ready to be inside of a committed relationship? And that's, it's not directed at any one person. It's just hard. It's hard for us to, I don't think there's a solid foundational definition of what it means to be marriage material.
And I'm glad you said that, because first of all, marriage material should be a question asked. It shouldn't be a question asked to a woman who is to be chosen. If it's valid to ask a woman this type of question, it means she sets the terms and qualifiers for a man, which makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense for what marriage is originating from. Second of all, women in their 30s, 35 plus, whatever, yes, they need to be desperate in dating. You need to be shooting that motherfucker from half court if you can hit. Get out the streets ASAP. And when you work on yourself, stop and think of the man you're sharpening yourself for. Is that what he wants? Are the results of your work, of your change, does that align with the man that will make you his wife? If not, you need to go and talk to him and ask him, what can I work on to be your wife? And when he responds with the details, then go work on that. That way you can eliminate all this marriage material shit, because everybody has different things they value as a suitable wife and husband. Third thing, if you ain't married, that means you haven't chosen and you haven't been chosen. There's no such thing as a man being potential. When a woman says a man is only considered if he is marriage material, it means that a woman has orchestrated a criteria for a man to meet, which makes her the opposite of a helpmeet, which means she is looking for a helpmeet, which means she has a system for a man to fall into, which means a man has to fall in line, which means she herself is not aligned with what makes her a suitable wife, because a suitable wife is to be submissive and cooperative. meaning any man that chooses her and vets her would take her as a helpmate, and she would be the one who would have to be considered.
But what if a woman
she would have to be the one who would have to cooperate and submit? So this is, you gotta miss me with all this BS about a man not being potential.
Hold on, let me check on Sweeney. Sweeney, what's going on, man? You not?
I got nothing, man. Go ahead.
Okay.